I think when you love something that it's not a job and you just go all in it and just enjoy every day doing it, regardless if you're going to be the best at it or just average at it, just loving it, passion towards it.
Interview prep, baby.
Pass the torch, man. Keeps getting better. So, Troy Denton, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come.
Yeah, so we're down here in Dallas, and your hometown now, but you also grew up here in Dallas, right?
Yeah, correct. Stevens Park Golf Course area, Kessler Park, so pretty fun, yeah.
Yeah, and so was golf a big part of your life, just like from the jump? Like, when'd you put the sticks in your hands?
It's kind of a crazy story. So I grew up on a golf course, the 18th hole. My dad always wondered. He didn't play golf. My mom didn't play golf. My brother didn't play golf, sister. So it's kind of a deal where like he's like, why do I live on this golf course? Old school public course. So I played hockey growing up. So I would always go up to the clubhouse, and they had a cart path around the clubhouse, and I would basically rollerblade around, skateboard, and they're like, this kid, get this kid out of here. So finally I was 14. I was like, hey, I'll give it a try. So I think I got like a couple clubs from a garage sale, and the rest was history. So by the time I didn't even play till I was 14 years old, but I went like die hard into it from there on. And then that's when my freshman year of high school decided to quit hockey and just go full golf.
You just had the itch and just couldn't get rid of it, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's a perfect blend for like hockey players into golf, like especially if you play the same direction. Like if you're righty in golf, righty in hockey, it's like you're gonna be a decent player. So I think that was the reason I kind of picked it up naturally and then went from there. And then what a lot of kids don't do now, I did, which I try to encourage my juniors to do now, is like just flat out play a ton of golf. So I would literally play in the summer from sun up to sundown. Like I just crushed it.
Jealous. I've gotten the bug as of late the last few years, but there's something about hockey players when they start to play golf. It's just like a natural swing for them. Like I don't know what it is, but what do you think it is?
No, I think it's absolutely like, so I played golf with Tyler Sagan not long ago, and he was talking about how, he gets super deep in his swing, and he has the shortest, flattest swing you've ever seen. And I'm like, I disagree with him completely, because when you take a slap shot, you have crazy width on that slap shot. Yeah. So I just think the guys, a couple of things. I think they make huge shoulder turns, have a lot of power. And then the spine angle of our body is the same in hockey if you play the same direction. Now you're kind of screwed if you're like I think there's a few guys like Matthias Janmark, a lefty for hockey, righty for golfer. Really? That's a problem.
Yeah, that's gonna cause some issues.
Yeah, but I think like right now I have an 8-year-old son. He's big into hockey, and like we barely do any golf, and the reason I'm not worried about it, I check his swing like once a month or something. Like, okay, it's on track, is because it's literally training him the proper movement.
You got to make sure that he's going to be a star.
I mean, he might not hit it perfect, but I'm like, the plane of his swing, everything's good. I'm like, that's perfect. Those 200 pucks a day are working out.
Speaking of good hockey players that also are good at golf, Joe Pavelski, right? So our co-founder here at TorchPro. But we were hanging out. We were telling Will earlier on the podcast about how we were at the ACC tournament, that celebrity tournament out in Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
And he lost to Romo in the playoff hole. But it's incredible to see Joe, how it's not his full-time sport, but being able to be so good at it.
Yeah, so I'd always heard about him. And then, so he's a member at Marydale Golf Club where I teach. And so when he finally got traded to Dallas, I was super excited. And so the first time I played him, everyone said he always had amazing hands, how he tips the puck and everything. I was like, yeah, sure, but I bet he's just an okay golfer. And then the first day we played golf, like you could tell he hadn't played in a while, but I mean, he hit some of the dirtiest like bunker shots, chips, and I was like, okay, he's got the hands for sure.
Yeah.
But I will put him up against Romo, which I'm friends with Tony too, and no one loves golf more than Tony, except maybe Will Zalatoris. But I mean, Joe, I think if the second he's done playing, like he could be as good as he wants to be. Now in a high level amateur sense, not in like, trying to play tour events. Now he probably will get exemption into something at some point.
Yeah.
But I love his game. It's simple. I mean, hits a tight little draw, and then obviously he's a smart guy. So he doesn't overdo it. Some of these guys, pro athletes that I teach, they'll going from what they play to obsession of golf, and they almost overdo it, so it kind of hurts them.
Yeah,
rather than just enjoying it more.
Will was saying that Pavs is probably like 5 or so shots away from like a tour card, and he's really got to grind every single day. Like, you know what it takes, but like he's close. He's almost there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been awesome. You mentioned you're obviously a coach. You're Will Zalatoris' coach now. But when did that kind of transition start? Did you ever try to make a run at the PGA Tour professionally? And when did you make that jump to coaching?
Yeah, I tried to play for a little bit. I mean, I struggled. So I went to UNLV in Las Vegas. I think we were number 2 in the nation the whole time we were there. Had Ryan Moore, who one of the best amateur careers, won 5 times on tour. So play golf with him every day, and just didn't. I don't know. I just kind of struggled in college. Got a little lost. Good, which is why I probably teach now, as I learned about chasing too much technique, too much crazy stuff, rather than keeping the game simple, playing more golf. So basically, like from there, I tried to play for a little bit, but then Ryan Moore called me, which I videoed him a ton in college, close friends. He's like, hey, would you be willing to travel with me, help me kind of keep my game on track? You're not going to mess with his swing much. It's so natural. But he's like, hey, let's kind of do something together. So that's when I was like kind of playing mini tours, kind of not. So I never went like crazy hard at it, but it was, I just knew I wasn't quite there.
Right. And so, how did you get introduced to Zalatoris? When did that happen?
So I think it's kind of crazy how time flies, but I think it's been close to 5 years. He joined Marido Golf Club, and I would see him out there. You always get to know the new young guys, and I never thought at that time he had a current coach, and I don't bug guys. I don't try to build business. It's like it's either going to happen or not. But then one day I was working with Martin Flores at the time, and he's like, hey, you want to work? I was like, of course. And that time he's actually struggling, but I mean,
Was he on the Corn Ferry?
he wasn't even Corn Fair. He just graduated from Wake Forest and literally like played one. He got exemption into a few events, didn't do well. It's probably around May because it was just before the Byron Nelson. So that was his first event he played that I was working with him. But I mean, he had no status. And then right away at Q School, he didn't even make it through. So it wasn't the firing start you wanted to, but I mean, he's a freak talent. Even then, like he hadn't popped then, but I mean, he can do things that are just insane.
It's incredible to watch. And like, obviously his past few seasons, he's had those second place finishes. He got the win down in St. Jude, and he's 7th ranked in the world. He's the number 1 ball striker on tour. But what makes Will like so special as a golfer?
That's the hard thing, is because you can look at, I'm not a real technical teacher, meaning that like, I believe you just help these guys get fractionally better. So he's hit it good his whole life. He'll tell you times where we were talking the other day and he's just like, I was struggling. Then I'm like, well, how much were you struggling? I think what separates him is, like I say, a lot of my junior golfers now don't do, is just flat out the passion to play the game. Like, I mean, like he'll go from playing a tournament on Sunday and you'll be like, oh, of course, he should take a day off. Next thing you know, he's out there talking to people, hits a few balls, and is just going to go play 9 with some random members. That's not normal. And that's only because he loves the game. So I think from a young age, he just played a ridiculous amount of golf, shot good scores, had good technique, and then also he's just gifted. It's flat out, like, obviously we work on stuff in the swing and things, but it's just more keeping him not screwing himself up, keeping it in check, offsetting his habits. But he's just a ridiculous gifted golfer.
Yeah, and it's so clear with Will to see that he has so much passion for the game. Just in interviewing him, like talking or rerunning through some of those majors and some of those tournaments, like he remembers every single shot on every single hole on every single day. And so it's super clear to see that just like how much he loves golf.
Yeah. No, that's one of his, every interview, anything, I try to always put the credit on him because like I say, and when we help guys like him, he's Will Zalatoris. I just help him, but that's my favorite thing about him is he wants to play every week. It's just his passion's incredible. You can't teach that because a lot of kids don't do that anymore. It's a more common thing to chase technique, to make your swing look Instagram pretty, then be like, okay, let's go. But then they go shoot 76. So it's like, who cares?
Right. No, it's awesome. And so now I'm interested to learn more about like the life of a PGA Tour coach. So are you traveling almost to every event or not so much?
So I'm a bit different. So I take care of Will's swing. Josh Gregory takes care of his short game. Obviously, we're a team, so we work together, and Damon Goddard does his training. So in my case, I don't travel as much as some guys, but my goal is to catch him every week he's home on an off week, is to give him, if he told me he wants to do 20 hours, we're going to do 20 hours. If he wants to go to lunch, we're going to go to lunch. Like, whatever he needs to support him and help him be better, I give him that at home. Then he'll go hit the road, which in his case, when he's on the road, he's not a guy who's, okay, I'm going to go hit 2 hours of golf balls. I mean, there's guys out there that it's crazy, but you're wasting energy.
Yep.
I mean, there's just no reason for it. And also, he's not searching for things. So he doesn't really need me to go on the road. But let's say he were to play 3, which is rare now, I'll split the middle week.
Yep.
So, and then I'll go to all the majors, but I'll just go through Wednesday. I got to get home to the family. So it's like he just doesn't need that. And I've made it clear that I'll do that for him, but he doesn't need it. You know, like I coach other guys on tour, they need different things, but kind of the thing I've always sold myself on and for people is just like the quality time on an off week. Like, let's work.
Yeah.
Like, whatever that means. That means playing golf one day, means hitting balls for 3 hours the next. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever they need that off week.
Yeah, Will was talking about how in major weeks he doesn't even play 18 that week leading up. It's all about that energy conversation.
Yeah.
And so like just like leading up, not playing a ton of golf. But you mentioned you work with some other guys on tour. So who are some of those guys?
So Ryan Morris, who got me started, was super lucky to get the chance with him. You know, he's getting older. He just turned 40 yesterday, so we're getting old.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's still got some of the tanks, so we'll see what. But I mean, he opened the door for me. Then Sebastian Munoz, I've had the chance. He's had a good run. Just played President's Cup, doing great. He's got 1 win on tour. Then Will Zalatoris, and I got the Cootie brothers coming up, Parker and Pearson, which are a pretty fun project. And I've had other guys in the past, but that's one thing about tour coaching is it's some point you're going to get dumped. But I take pride in like loving these guys, so it's like that's just part of the business, you know.
Yeah, are these mostly Dallas guys?
Yeah, because the thing is, so Ryan lives in Vegas, but he's an exception because of our past. So I'll travel about once or twice a month, zip into Vegas, work with him. But it's like I'm not looking to work with guys from somewhere else unless they're willing to come here. But I like because that doesn't work in my system in a sense because let's say they're an off week. I mean, I want to be able to flexibly work anytime they want.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why I like the local guys.
How much of your game plan? So, like, obviously, everyone has a different swing. You're not going to tell Zalatoris to swing the same way as Ryan Moore, or is that part of your strategy?
No, not at all. I mean, they have totally different swings. I mean, you're trying to get guys in sequence, aligned properly, rhythm. Yeah, everyone has tendencies. They all have different tendencies, and our goal is that this is how I teach. I offset their tendencies on off weeks, so then they can find the middle ground, go play for a few weeks, and then when they come back, if it gets off, we offset it again, we clean it up. So it's not like there's a lot of teachers out there that love to sell stuff, and I don't sell stuff. It's like the golf, they're already that good.
Yeah.
It's like they don't need to, like it's different when Joe Schmo comes in high handicap and, you know, yeah, he's got massive swing flaws and doesn't hit one good shot. Yeah, I got to tweak him. But when you go stand on the range with Will, he'll literally barely miss a shot. Same thing for Sebastian. Same thing for Ryan. Like I joke about Ryan Moore, his dispersion on the driving range is insane. Like if you had a TrackMan tracer for years, it would literally like paint the line of it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like he never hits a crooked shot ever.
Yeah, and Will was describing you kind of as a player's coach, right?
Yeah.
To go out there and just kind of feel it. So I like that approach. And so you mentioned the Joe Schmo with a ton of swing flaws. I'm definitely that guy. I'm like a 12 handicap. I've gotten into the game of golf the last 2 years. I've fallen in love. I got that bug. But I'm coming in to see you. We're hitting the range for an hour. What's that like number one thing that you look for in me that you want to work on?
Alignment. Because you get guys that come in and say, are you a righty?
Yeah.
So you come in right away, you'll look at your alignment like, hey, aim at that flag. You'll be amazed. Like it's you could write a book on it. It's like most righties aim like 10 to 20 yards right. And they're like, I'm lined up perfect. And then they come dead over the top, pull it to the target. Well, of course you did. Your brain's helping you do that. So my deal is like, hey, let's fix the alignment. And then obviously there's just concepts guys don't know, like, and they're not complicated. Like, you know, a guy aims right, comes dead over the top. Well, he might not understand the concept of the direction you need to swing, like the ball flight laws and stuff. So it's like you kind of read the personality of a guy.
Yeah.
Because you get some people who will just like think they know everything. And then you look at the people who will listen and then you just kind of break it down and simplify it. But you can only do a couple simple things.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was that righty that came over the top and had about a 90-degree slice until I got a lesson. The guy was like, you're swinging over the top of the ball, and it's all about
Yeah.
club direction. So like that's something I had no idea, not ever getting a lesson before.
Yeah, and the crazy part is a lot of people, they just have no concept of that. Like, and that goes into the hockey thing we were talking about earlier, is like shooting pucks, you're not going to wipe across a puck.
Yeah.
You're going to snap it from the inside, you're going to slap it from the inside. So that's another thing, is it's training. Even like Sebastian Munoz, I gave him a stick and he'll like kind of mess around in his garage because he has that feeling of right shoulder low, in to out. But there's so many ways you can, like, people just don't understand. But if you go back, alignment is just like massive. Like, and there's teachers out say, oh, it doesn't matter. You know, you can just, you play with what you have. And I believe, and when you get on the golf course, I don't care what you do. If you get on like a golf course and you got on the first hole and you aim right and you pull it to the left fairway, fade it back to the middle, I don't care for that day. But if you sit there and you tell me, hey, I want to go from a 90 shooter to 80 shooter, you might actually be able to do that still coming over the top. But if you want to go to another level, like, you have to learn to start your ball down your line, use your body correct, quiet the hands, and go from there. But the swing, stylistic look of the swing, doesn't matter. It's pretty much from hip high with the alignment, the club path, the face angle. I mean, those simple things.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sending you some swing videos after
Yeah,
this.
well, how long you staying in town? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to hit the course. And so, are you a big analytics guy? So, like, would you rather take Will for an hour in the TrackMan or out in the course?
Course, yeah. I mean, I use TrackMan. I've used other stuff in the past. I've quit buying technology basically because I end up not using it. And so, perfect example is just, we went to TPI at Titleist just recently with Will. It's like, you know, we worked with Dr. Greg Rose, and it's like, these guys are brilliant. They've seen thousands and thousands and swings on these, you know, the 3D, the pressure plates. Hey, I've seen swings on them. I've messed with that stuff, but I haven't seen thousands and thousands and studied that. So it's like, leave that to the guys who are good at that. And my goal is like to humble myself as a coach, use that information to get better, and then support Will how I need to be supported. And that's the hardest thing as a coach a lot of times, is like, I mean, you can go to TPI and you see these guys, they start telling you things you can't see. And then you could easily be like, well, I just, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they say, but all that matters is that help Will.
Yeah, I think
So-
the analytics stuff kind of overcrowds the game, and like Will mentioned, like it's just about getting out there and getting reps.
And the thing is with Will, in his case, like, he's already like, when it comes to like stats and things, brilliant. Like, and he has a good team of that. And then also too, Josh Gregory's really good at that. So I leave that to him. I'm just a dyslexic fool teaching him some golf swing.
I'm also dyslexic, so we can connect there. It's before switching gears to kind of like beyond the course, like talking about Will's team, like how much of his success goes into like you guys all working together as a team, like you accepting that Will has a short game coach, he has a trainer, and like being able to all work together.
No, I think in like perfect examples, there was times early on where it's like, golf teachers are very prideful. Like, you feel threatened by different things. So it's like, I think as the years have gone teaching, I've let that go. And so it's like, a team is huge now. It's changed. Like, golf is not like Butch Harmon's your coach and he does short game putting and is your mental coach. Like, that's just not common anymore. It used to be where you just had one guy and you're loyal to him. But now it's like, I mean, it helps too, because like, let's say I'm not on the road. Well, Josh and I are close, so Josh travels a ton. So if he sees something on the swing, he'll text me, ask him, like, and I'm not going to be like, why are you touching the swing? Because at the end of the day, like I said, you have to humble yourself. It's about getting Will better. And then too, him seeing that, so he doesn't feel bad for, like, you know, if Josh sees something, like, of course I want him to help him, not be like, don't touch that, you know? So the
Right.
team's huge now, like, and just, you know, to hang out together. Like I said, we all went to TPI together. We had a great time. We bonded. We looked at things. What can we do better? What can we do different? And just try, like I said, support Will.
Yeah, as much of an individual game golf is, it's cool to see that team aspect and how it translates to the actual course.
Well, the problem too for like, that's the fun thing of other sports is you get a team. Is in golf, it does get hard because you're on your own. You get lonely on the road. It's a lot of people don't get is it's not the glorious thing traveling every week. It's, you don't have a team to travel with. You don't have, you know, that whole atmosphere. So having a team, of a smaller team, that's why that's getting popular too. Because a lot of guys, players now, they'll have a friend they'll pay that, like, I think DeChambeau does it, which is just part of his team, but it's just hey, let's go to dinner, or let's take my mind off golf. So people are creating
Yeah.
teams big time.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so a little bit off the course now. What is Will Zalatoris missing out by not eating Chipotle every single day?
Ooh, big time. Well, he probably didn't tell you. I've switched over to kava now.
Kava,
Yeah,
the Mediterranean one.
I did a little flip. Yeah. So, and it's funny because Davis Riley's giving me a hard time about that yesterday. But, I have a obsession with it since like 2002. Probably have ate it more than anybody.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure there's some crazy people out there, but I've probably ate it around 5 days a week since 2002.
Wow.
And so, but recently I flipped it to kava.
Kava's awesome. I love
So they're not
kava.
gonna like that. I'm kind of. Will did tell me he was gonna get me like the year free pass, but he hasn't done it yet. So
Well, I mean, how do you not have a brand deal at this point? We got to work on that.
yeah, they don't care about me.
Yeah. So you roll in. Let's start with Chipotle. Like, walk me through your order.
Well, my eating healthy, which I was in a dark hole for a long time, so I wasn't eating healthy. So basically, I'd get double meat, rice, sour cream, cheese, guac, queso, large drink, large chip, roll out about 2,000 calories, get out of there. That might be lunch and then eat it again for dinner.
No
so.
way.
Oh, yeah.
You've doubled up.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
But lately, I've actually lost some weight lately and changed some things, so I'm doing good. So I've been off of it, which is kind of sad to say because I'm not going to be able to talk about it as much.
That's
Because that and Liver King, I probably talk about every day.
You're right.
So,
Yeah. Wow, that's a special diet right there.
yeah.
And so then you had a pet pig for a while. Still have the pet pig?
No, that was a fail. So basically, I had 2 pigs growing up. My parents were crazy, just let us have any type of pets we wanted. We went to this place called Canton, and it's a small town in Texas, and they have like all these animals. We just pick stuff up. So I was like, I got to get my kids a pig so they can experience it. So drive down to Waco, Texas, get it. Cutest thing you've ever seen, like 5 pounds, little thing, and then. So then next thing 2 months go by, it's like 50 pounds, like making these giant. I had this nice Georgia backyard, just blew it up. So finally we were like, okay, that failed. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, growing up with a pet pig instead of a dog might be a cool thing.
Yeah, Will loves that one because he's got my phone saved with my picture holding my giant pig.
I love it.
Nah, it's fun though.
Yeah. So jumping in some rapid fire here. You can do one word, one phrase, take as long as you want, but who is your favorite athlete growing up as a kid?
Ooh, I'm not kind of cookie cutter of that stuff. Eric Lindros.
Who's that?
What?
Who's that?
Eric Lindros?
Yeah.
In hockey.
Okay. Not the biggest hockey guy, but I'll have to
Yeah.
look him up.
Like I weirdly just liked him. I think he had like a book. Like I don't know. I just liked him. And
Yeah.
then he'll switch to a golfer, but I couldn't even tell you who on that. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm terrible at this type of stuff. I like everything.
I'm gonna make you pick another one. Who's your favorite athlete to watch in like current day sports? Maybe like just someone exciting on the field or something.
Joe Pavelski.
Yeah,
Give him some love.
That's a good
no, I
answer.
do. Right now, like I texted him 2 nights ago. I mean, the passes he made in that last game, it's just incredible to watch. And I mean, for his age, and you see how hard he works, and it was incredible. Like every night he has an impact. So I love watching it.
Yeah, he's an ageless wonder. I mean, I think he's 38. You're 17. He's still crushing it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite course you've ever played?
Stevens Park public course right down the street. Like people ask me that all the time. It's like, I've gone to everywhere with these guys. I don't get to play it always, but you feel like you play it because you sit there and have to watch them play and play practice rounds and then go there for different reasons. But Stevens Park, Pine Valley. Had a friend who's a member there, begged me to come for years. I was like, I don't care because I'm more of who I'm playing with versus where I'm playing. I don't have like the list I'm trying to click off or check off. But I always joke, it's like if you get a group, go play Stevens Park public course, like hard to beat that.
Yeah.
But Pine Valley lived up to the #1 ranking. Like
Well-
it's awesome.
We'll have to check out Stevens while we're here.
Yeah.
What's your favorite club in the golf bag?
A 7-iron.
7-iron?
Yeah, and I don't know if that's from teaching. I think I always have loved it. So 9, if you're gonna get a lesson, you're gonna hit a 9 and 7-iron. Like to a fault, people call me out on it.
Yeah.
But I love 7-iron.
What's your dream foursome? So dead or alive, celebrities, could be a golfer. Will's was Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, and I think he said Steph Curry.
Man, I'd love to. I mean, I've watched Tiger hit balls, and it's always fun when you're on the range and you catch a, Will's warming up next to him, and you get to see and hear it. It's not as common with Will, but with Ryan more and Sebastian, different stuff. So definitely Tiger. Um, Lee Trevino in his heyday, which he's a member at Merida, I see all the time. I love like how, I mean, I joke with him every day because he comes out, hits a few balls, but like I would love to see him in his prime, just to see his flight of his golf ball, the way he hit it, and just how naturally he did it versus thinking. Then I'd probably, I guess, Wayne Gretzky,
Yeah.
just to pick it, and then Eric Lindros. Why not?
Throw him in there. Okay, so who's your favorite music artist right
Ooh,
now?
yeah, this is terrible. Like,
Not a music guy.
I like, if I was gonna go something crazy old school that I just like is something corporate, but
Yeah.
I'm bad about it. You ask me a question like that, I don't even know. Like,
Yeah.
I just listen to anything.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Two more. What's your biggest fear?
Ooh, not being able to be with my family. Yeah,
That's a good one.
I mean,
And then last one, what is one word that best describes you?
crazy. I don't know.
Yes. Okay, so we talked a lot today about different themes and like lessons throughout your career. But if you had that one lesson that you've learned throughout your journey in sports that you could pass along to the next generation to help them accomplish their dreams in everyday life, what would that one lesson be?
Um, just passion for whatever you're doing. I think, I'm trying to teach my son that or help develop that and not mess with it. I think when you love something that it's not a job and you just go all in it and just enjoy every day doing it, regardless if you're going to be the best at it or just average at it, just loving it, passion towards it.
Yeah, you're going to be good at something that you love.
Yeah.
So that's super important. Well, thank you for the time today.
Absolutely.
Enjoyed it and looking forward to watch you and Will and the team the rest of the 2023 season.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoyed the content. There's plenty more Pass the Torch episodes, along with other podcasts we got going on and video series we do. So subscribe, and we'll see you later.